Right now, you're tuned in to the one and only Stock Car Facts with me, your host, Kevin Schwarzy. I would greatly appreciate it if you would hit that like button on our videos, especially this one, and if you would subscribe to our channel so you don't miss terrific content like we're presenting to you today. So, as they say, please smash that notification bell so that you'll know the next time something like this or anything comes up. Boy, this show didn't start out very good. I pressed the wrong button here in Stock Car Facts. But as always, I appreciate my loyal followers, subscribers. Press that like button. I know I've got people out there who do it. Give me some views. You know how the algorithms are. And folks, I'm begging you, please, when you leave your comments, leave them in the comments on YouTube. Because where the algorithms hit, there's interactions, and it sends those suggestions out to others. When you hit that like button, when you hit that subscribe button, when you hit that bell to be notified of other content. And this content, I am telling you, I am so happy because when I contacted this young lady who's trying to hide behind that trophy, by the way, about when we started messaging, we were on the exact same page. And I will tell you why. This episode here is going to be about, I'd say it's a love story, but it's not a like story between Mr. Stacy, Mr. Jim J.D. Stacy, and Mr. Robert Boobie Harrington. And these two guys are, to me, are icons in this sport. And some of the younger fans have heard of Mr. Stacy, but they've not heard of Mr. Harrington. And on this side here is Mr. Stacy's daughter, Velvet. And on this side is Miss Crystal Harrington. She's got a street named after her right behind here in Kannapolis. So, ladies, thank you so much for being on the show. I can't tell you how excited I am that you're here and you've given me this time to do this. And I know that the viewers are going to be happy because we're going to touch, this is Stock Car Facts. I know the comments are going to be, hey, stop talking, let them talk. I know. I've got to build the foundation. I get that all the time. I got a guy last week on the Richie Petty broadcast. I told the guy in the background to stop with his quirks. I had to read that again. I go, quirks? What are you, quirks? What are you talking about? Okay, fine. And I said, thank you, I'll make a note of that, but thanks for the views. Whatever you mean by quirks. But anyway, I appreciate you guys being on the show. And it's late. And I also think you ladies are the first sit-down interviews I've had with ladies. You're number one.
That's promising.
I have always said, chivalry is not dead because I tried to resurrect it from the dead. Open doors, carry coats, whatever. But I'm sorry, you ladies are the first on the show since 2019. Okay. But, I mean, somebody's got to be first, right?
I agree.
So I will say that whoever wants to go first and explain who you are, talk a little bit about yourself, and who wants to go first?
I guess that's
you, right?
Well, I'm Crystal Harrington, and I'm Robert Boobie Harrington's daughter, only child and daughter. And I am here to talk about my father and his interaction with Mr. Stacy, and also his racing career. And my father got into NASCAR. Well, actually, he was in racing before NASCAR. He was running the dirt tracks, the local dirt tracks, the Metrolina Speedway, the Concord Speedway, and he was running that on the weekends. And while he was a body man at the local Chevrolet store, and then he got a job with the NASCAR team, the K&K Insurance Nordcross team, and Dave Marcus was the driver, car number 71. And all of this I was a child at the time. That's how he got his start, and he was the body man for that team. And then on race day, he was the gas man.
I did not know that.
Yes, yes, he was a gas man. That was his pit crew.
Boy, what didn't that guy do?
Yeah. He could be a jack man too, but he was a gas man.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he was the gas man. And then back in those days, you didn't have the nice fancy car haulers. You had a box truck, and you had the race car was on a trailer with a cover on it.
Speaking of gas man, there was no speed limit on pit road.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so I'll tell you that too. So my father was the gas man, and he was also many times he would haul the car to the racetrack. He was a truck driver too. So, like I said, this was before the days of the big haulers and all that stuff, but he did that. But when my dad was in racing back in the day, for all you young people that are in racing now and don't know how all the history was, but my father was gas man. He wore his regular everyday uniform that anybody would wear to their job, and he had a set of goggles and his cowboy boots.
No bib.
No bib,
helmet,
no nothing.
no gloves.
Nothing. That was it. No gloves, no nothing. It was just his only safety thing was the goggles on his eyes, and that was it. And he did it in his cowboy boots because he loved cowboy boots, and he did the gas on pit road in his cowboy boots, his everyday uniform. So yes, and then so he started off with that, and then how he got to know Mr. Stacy was Mr. Stacy bought that team, and Neil Bonnet became the driver, and so my father was just a regular crew member at the time, but he kind of just bonded with Mr. Stacy, and I think why they bonded so much was because my father's always been a straight shooter, a hardworking man, and and I think Mr. Stacy is kind of like that too, as far as being a straight shooter, and
I think he appreciated that
and
too.
Yes, I think my father appreciated that too, and
vice
so
versa.
they built a trust between the two of them, and then I don't know how much more you want me to talk about.
No, that's perfect.
That's how they got together.
Yeah, and now we're going to shift to Miss Velvet, Stacy. You're the oldest, I believe, right? Or
I am the second oldest from my mom and dad's marriage.
Mom and dad's marriage, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And your dad, he took quite the different tack, being born in Kentucky, and you said he ended up in California at the age of 19?
Well,
what in the world is that? He didn't graduate high school, right? He was self-taught.
He didn't graduate middle school.
Oh, dear Lord.
My father didn't either.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You both your fathers were self-taught and slightly independent.
Yeah, a lot.
And your dad, you said your dad ran the biggest mobile home park in California, or is it L.A.?
No, well, it was in California. I'm not sure the exact spot, but he was born in Hazard, Kentucky, and my dad was married before he met my mom. But in any event, when my mom and dad did meet, he owned one of the largest mobile home parks in California.
Wow.
But my mom is quite a bit younger than my dad.
And very famous.
And,
we'll get to that in a little bit.
Okay, here we go. In any event, so that's how they met. So when my dad was in, I believe, if I can get the story wrong, I'm sure my brothers will tell me.
Or the people on YouTube will comment.
Or the people on YouTube will tell me that it's wrong. My mom used to head at the Flamingo in Las Vegas back in the day. She was 17, 18, but she did everything with my Uncle Rico, and they had a dance troupe and whatever.
Wow.
Cleopatra, all of that back in the late, 50s, early 60s. So that's how I know how they met. And then my dad thought he was going to do an American style thing and say, oh, hey, come out with me. That was an absolute no-go. And my Uncle Rico said, if you want to see her, you're taking everybody out. He said, oh, absolutely.
Kind of like in Good Morning Vietnam.
I'll take
You take the whole family.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's how my mom and dad met. But in any event, I remember from a long time ago, and even Crystal around, Mr. Robert being around all the time with the races and everything. And we've been friends for forever and a day. But she didn't get to go to the races as much as I did. She was in school and had to study.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. I just went to the local
Yeah.
ones, you know, Daytona, Atlanta,
Yep.
Darlington,
That's
Charlotte.
right. And so, but from the moment, every time I saw them together, and I went to a lot of the races, they were like that. I mean, they just talk back and forth. I mean, just everything, every day on the phone. And
Every picture you see them both all together.
They're together.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking about something. They're doing something. They're discussing. They're all the time. And that's just the photos. But they were always on the phone. Always on the phone. And my dad absolutely loved Mr. Robert. I just loved him. And I know that your dad felt the same. And that's very hard because my dad was very business, very everything. And it's very hard to trust somebody in that capacity as a business guy because he's had many that did the opposite, who he did trust, but
They weren't trustworthy.
Were very untrustworthy.
Especially in the types of businesses your dad had. He was in the mobile home business. He was in the coal mining business. He was in the health food,
Yeah, he was doing the
supplements.
Vitamins. He was doing a lot of different.
You get a lot of different personalities.
Yeah, kind of like my brother Sean. He's got a bunch of different businesses, but
runs in the family.
It does in the boy side. My dad was very trustworthy, and it was actually very, very nice with everything that went on all those years, and even to the end when they both passed away. To the end, they were on the phone. They were on the phone, and I truly believe that Mr. Robert was my dad's best friend, if you can call it that, in your 80s. Yeah. I believe that's 100% true.
Which is a neat story to again, this is one of the neat stories I want to tell, in that there are so many horror stories in racing alone of people that want to trust somebody, that need to trust somebody, and that just get hosed over and lose everything, and then they can't recover. And that article I showed you from 1979 about Neil Bonnet saying that he would love to have driven for your dad, and I'll put that up on the screen for the viewers out there. He would have driven for your dad forever if it weren't for the court stuff going on between he and Harry Hyde. There are so many people, and he said in the article, guys like him will lose $1 million, then they'll make $1 million, then they'll lose $1 million, and they'll make $1 million. But for your dad to actually find somebody for the rest of his life, that, okay, marriage is one thing, but to find something like a kindred spirit, and they were so opposite. Opposites attract. Well, they do it, same gender too. They were I've met both men, and the last I saw your dad was 82, 83. Always so nice. Do not throw me out of the garage area. I was a big Robin McCall fan at the time, and he would not get rid of me. Most people, they get out of the garage. This is my garage. Get out of here. Especially nowadays, you don't even go near the garage at all unless you have a NASCAR vest on or whatever. And I get it; it's a workspace, blah blah blah. But anyway, but your dad was a little tougher. But ARCA tracks, you didn't have a garage; you just had your spot. But your dad was tough, but he was fair.
He was
and
competitor.
He was like, and that's exactly what I was going to say. He wanted to win, and even, he helped some guys that probably weren't going to win, but doesn't matter to your dad. He was going to, make sure that I did my best, and it's not going to be because of me. So one of the reasons, folks, we're here, and I could have told this story myself. I could have presented what I feel is the facts of the matter. And one thing I've got to say is, and I told Velvet this a long time ago, that I wanted to know why some of you race fans out there, and I'm not yelling at you, but some of these stories that they told about Mr. Stacy, I want to know why that he doesn't get the same type of scrutiny and judgment some of these other car owners get. And for example, Mr. Stacy owed people lots of money. Well, you just described most of the garage area. I know plenty of car owners that owed people money. Well, and Velvet had a solution to that. Would you like to share that with the crowd? You said anybody that owes, that they say owes your dad money, that your dad owes money. This is your time.
So I had been reading a lot of the posts that people had posted from a long time ago.
They're still doing it, by the way.
Oh, I know.
Anyway.
Well, I mean, that's what it is. I've been going on posting because one of the last things that I did promise my dad before he passed away, I was, he was seeing all this stuff because he was on his phone doing whatever.
Oh, boy.
And he said, I don't care what you do, you just keep posting and answering and answering and answering. And that's what I've been doing.
That's what we're doing.
I try not to be rude or upset because a lot of these people that have been doing the posts, I don't even think they were born when everything was going on. So I'm assuming they've heard a story from somebody.
They can do a Google search, so they think they know.
or that, or maybe somebody on the side they like said something. In any event, there were a few, like maybe 3 or 4, when I would open up the thing, it would say, right, oh, he's a crook, he's a thief, he's this and whatever. Anybody, we live in America, we can say whatever they want. Everybody can say and do what they want. But if it's true, great. So I would just post back and say, really? My dad owes you money? Tell me exactly how much it is, and I will send you a check today.
And prove it. You said prove it.
Yeah.
Show me
you
the
have to
proof.
prove it.
Right.
I said, show me the proof that my dad owes you anything. I don't care if it's $1. I don't care if it's $10 million. Just send me the proof, and I will get you your money back. Not one person ever replied and said anything. Not one. So either they're just going off stories, or they're going off hearsay and
Or clickbait.
or whatever.
Click on my story.
Whatever they're doing.
Pay attention to me.
That's all fine, but to come out and call people that, it makes absolutely no sense to do that, because on the opposite side of what those people don't know is my dad gave people many opportunities to people that never would have had them.
Right.
And I was there. I saw it. I heard the phone calls. I heard and saw the race car drivers come to our house in Kentucky and sit there. They didn't have to sit there and beg. Absolutely. Absolutely, I would give you the chance, is what my dad said.
Your dad didn't know the word no.
He really
That was his drug.
never did. And he really wanted to give everybody a chance. He did. If it didn't work out, that's a different story. But he never said no. He never said, no, you're not good at it. No, absolutely. Go, do it. Just like that.
Now, we're not saying your dad was an angel. He did overextend himself. Sure.
Absolutely, 1,000%.
But he also tried to make it right.
Always.
And one thing that Velvet and I have certainly talked about since is that in later years in your dad's life, into the early teens of the 2000s, he's still at the racetrack. He's still taking pictures with Richard Childress.
Yeah,
There's one of the most opinionated guys. You do not want to get on the wrong side of is Bobby Allison.
Yeah.
They're smiling away. They're
with her dad. They were together.
Mr. Robert. Yeah. There's another one, and we're talking about all the big time owners.
Yeah.
That again, why do they get a pass for the screw-ups they made, and your dad does? I read something the other day, and it was just recent. A lot of followers. And they were talking, they got the timeline all wrong. Well, he fired this driver, that driver. Then they found a bomb under his car. That's misleading.
Right.
That happened when I was 10 years old.
Correct.
When you were 10.
When I was 10. When you were 10.
Yeah. So they make it sound like they put the bomb under his car because he fired a driver. Well, I'm sorry, it's my team. I can fire who I want.
That was in the 70s.
That was in the 70s.
Yeah.
I think we were all close to 10.
Yeah. So my point being, why are you what's the word I'm looking for? Why are you jacking the facts to try to make the story sound like this when it's not?
Right.
The bomb under his car, people don't forget that your dad was in the coal mining business.
Correct.
And anybody that knows that region, that knows that type of profession, that type of business, well over 100 years or more, it is a ruthless, cutthroat, it could be a life-ending profession. So I'll be honest with you, I'm surprised we didn't hear more about that. And your dad knew some pretty tough characters.
Correct.
And, he did more. I think your dad did more with less. I guess not a better way to put it, because he kept finding a way. He
always did.
He got, like I said, all the business he was in. And would you say that your dad was heartbroken when it kind of fell apart in the 80s? And he went to Africa?
I don't think he was heartbroken, because first and foremost, before anything, my dad was a businessman, and he wouldn't even been able to do.
So he's not looking back; he's looking ahead.
Correct. He knows how business is. One day you're this, one day you're that. You could be a stockbroker or whatever. That's just a different field than he was in. But he knew that business was going to put everything that he wanted to have and do, and his passion, which is racing, go forward. The business has to come first. If the business fails, there's nothing. I mean, and that's even now. If your business isn't going good, it shuts down. What are you going to do? There's nothing you can do. But, he did overextend himself. He just absolutely loved racing. He loved it. And he wanted to do every single solitary thing to keep it going. But, it is what it is. If the business fails, there's no money coming from anywhere. So you got to move on to the most important thing, which is that.
Now, I thought there was you and I were talking the other day on the phone, and I thought it was real neat how chivalrous he was when you said you offered to go to Africa. And what did he say?
You are absolutely not coming here. Well, I was already in my 20s, but he goes, absolutely not. Those boys are coming, meaning Sean and Bradley. He goes, I don't want you coming anywhere near this place. I was like, okay.
Nothing against our African friends, but It is a tough place.
He just, because I'm a girl, he did not want...
Well, they had to have security everywhere they went.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, Kyle raced raced over there in the 2000, about 10 years ago when they were on the ASA series over there, and he was doing the spotting, and he said they had to have armed escorts. Mexico, armed escorts. They're going to have that coming up here. Was your dad over there? Did he go visit in Africa?
Jim wanted him to go over there, but Dad didn't.
Dad didn't want to do it.
No.
He said, I traveled enough around here.
Yeah, he didn't.
Yeah, same thing. I don't blame.
Were your dad's involved in your dad thought of the wheel business, and we'll touch on that later with some other guests we're going to have on. Was your dad involved? Your dad's involved in the wheel business, or no?
No, that was my father.
That was Mr. Robert.
Okay,
just my father.
Yeah.
After Jim got out of the racing and everything, then my dad took over the equipment. Started running the team out of our shop. Dad became the car owner, and it was a small operation. We couldn't afford to do a full schedule or whatever.
Sure.
So we had just try to get a sponsor, go out there, try to get a sponsor, and try to do a few races, and everything, and just keep going and everything. Because my father was passionate about racing too.
Sure. Oh yeah.
He loved it. And
Buddy Baker, Lake Speed,
right. So he was just trying to get whatever he could do to just keep it going and everything. So, he had made the comment one time, that Mr. Stacy's business fell off, and had to shut that part out, and Dad kind of took over the bank payments for the equipment and started doing that and everything. But he said, Mr. Stacy kind of left me holding the bag, but without Mr. Stacy, I never would have had a bag to begin with. He says, I owe everything to him.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
So
then Dad just, tried to keep him racing in some way or another. And then eventually we ended up having to sell all the racing equipment. And then Dad came up with the idea. Well, actually, my dad did the templates for NASCAR for a while. He made the templates.
I forgot about that. You're right. He
did a couple of show cars, like
you're right.
Davey Allison show car and stuff. And then he came up with the wheel business that he started.
Yeah. No, you're right. I forgot about the template deal. And then your dad helped some ARCA guys like LW. I don't know how many ARCA. I know he helped LW Miller because I remember seeing him show up at the track in '94 with him. Oh, Mr. Harrington's here! Wow. And I thought, wow. I guess the Millers they're getting serious because they're hiring a guy that knows. He's been around this for a long time, and he knows all the people, all the ins and outs, and I mean, they ran well.
Yeah, my dad thought a lot of LW. In fact, when my father passed away, LW and Kelly came to visitation.
Yeah.
And so he thought a lot of LW. He knew he had a lot of potential.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, LW now is almost a household name because of the family he married into. LW, and I've asked some people, very, very, very well-known people to be on the show, and have agreed and have not done it. So I'll just leave that there. But anyway, LW meaning they've given me their number. LW is one of them. I haven't tried to nail him down for a show yet. He's one of the very few people that will text me back. Very few. He will text me back. So LW, I'll be getting a hold of you soon. We'll talk about your ARCA days.
We will wrap up some loose ends and the story of those two gentlemen. Thanks for listening.